Hey guys, okay, so this is Unit 4, our last skill in Unit 4, solving rational equations. So why don't you pause for a minute and copy down the steps 1 to 6 so that way we don't have to waste a lot of time on the recording, okay? So just hit pause and then copy it down. And then once you're done with pause, then I'm going to use all 6 steps. Ready? Step number 1 is that find factor the denominators and find the lowest common denominator and then restrictions. Well, I don't need to factor out my denominator because each one's only one term. 4 actually has the denominator of 1. So first thing is I'm going to find the lowest common denominator. So you have 5 and 2 and 1. So the lowest common denominator of that is 10. Then you have an m and an m on each side. Then you just take one of them. So that's your lowest common denominator. Then also it says find the restrictions. Restrictions, what you want to do is take each denominator and set it equals to 0. Because both denominator has an m, you don't have to write it twice, just take one and set it equals to 0. So the restrictions is m can never ever be 0. Now, more than ever, you're going to see why restrictions are important, okay, in solving. Then it says multiply all parts of the equation by the lowest common denominator. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to write all the parts over and then multiply by the LCD. So 3m plus 2, since the numerator has more than one term, I'm going to multiply by using parentheses. So over 1. Okay. You don't have to have it over 1, but some of you see it better when I write it over 1. So this is over 2m, just copying down the original. And multiply by 10m. Again, you can leave 10m as 10m, or you can write 10m over 1 equals to my 4, and times this by lowest common denominator 10m. So that's step number 2. Multiply each and every term by the lowest common denominator. Then step number 2 said cancel all denominators. So that's the whole purpose. So that way we don't have denominators anymore. Now we just have a normal basic algebra equation. So 5 go into 10 2 times. M and M are going to reduce. 2 go into 10 5 times. M and M are going to reduce. And 4 times 10m is just going to be 40m. Now we're just going to distribute. Ready? 2 times 3m is now 6m. 2 times 2 is positive 4. 5 times 3m is going to be positive 15m. 5 times negative, oh, this is a 2. Whoops, sorry. 2v, and then, so that's not 15. 5 times 2m is now just 10m. I'm sorry. And then 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. And then we said it equals to 40m. So now combine like terms, 10m and 6m will make a 16m. And then 4 and a negative 5 will make a negative 1. And then bring your 40m closer. We want to subtract 16m from both sides. There you go. So negative 1 equals 24m. Divide both sides by 24 because we want to solve for m. So m equals a negative 1 over 24. Now m is a negative 1 over 24, which is perfect because as long as it's not the same as the restriction, then you can keep that answer. Okay, so step number 3 says cancel the denominator. We did that. Step number 4, distribute the numerators with the remaining LCD pieces. That's exactly what we did with that and with 3m plus 2 times 2 and even 4 times 10m. Step number 5, we solve. Okay, once we get down to a basic algebra 1 equation, we solve normal algebra and then we checked our answer using the restrictions. So here we'll try that again with number 2. First, we want to factor it out. Okay. So this is, let me draw a line. This is 2 over x plus 2 equals x minus 2 over x times x plus 2. In the case that you can cancel that. But before you cancel, do still state the restrictions. So immediately I'm going to find the LCD and then state restrictions. That's what number 1 said. So the LCD is, oops, you have an x plus 2 on this side and an x plus 2 on that side, so I'm going to take that. You have an x by itself, then obviously you're going to take that as well. So that's your lowest common denominator. So right away, I'm going to say that restrictions, x can never ever be 0 and x can never ever be negative 2 because the denominator you take it, you say equals 0. So what do you do with each piece? You're going to take each piece and you're going to multiply it to your original. Okay, so 2 over x plus 2 times LCD, which is x. Oh no, let's write it in red. X times x plus 2. And remember, I said earlier you can put it over 1 if you choose to. If you put it over 1, then make this a quantity. Equal to the original, which is x minus 2 over x times x plus 2, then times the LCD, which is x times x plus 2. Okay, so here, step number 3 said, okay, we'll cancel some things. Yep, let's cancel that. Ooh, cancel and cancel. Look, you now have just a normal basic algebra 1 equation. So let's distribute. So x times 2 is now 2x. Okay. This one, you don't have anything left, just a 1. So 1 times x minus 2 is going to be an x minus 2. So let's solve for x. Move 1x over. So now cancel, cancel. X equals to negative 2. So normally, we will box that up and we call it a day. But you have to check this answer with your restrictions. Well, within the restrictions, x can never, ever, ever, ever be negative 2. So we cannot keep this answer. We write no solution. Okay, because we already stated before that x can never ever be negative 2. So when you solve and there's a glitch and you found that x is whatever you said earlier, the restriction, oops, x can never ever be negative 2. The answer was, so if you found an answer that is the opposite of your restrictions, or I'm sorry, not the opposite, the same as your restriction, then you cannot keep it. Okay, and that's the end of this video.